Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Excellency João Lourenço, President of the Republic of Angola and Chair of the African Union, Excellency Dr. Abiy Mohamed, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, ladies and gentlemen, heads of state and government, Excellency Giorgia Meloni, President of Italy, and Honorable Mustafa, Prime Minister of the Palestinian Authority, UN Secretary General, representatives of Pan-African institutions, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. At the outset, I would like to wish you a very happy New Year 2026. I also want to wish you all a warm welcome to the African Union, especially the newly elected heads of state. Permit me also to congratulate and thank President Lourenço of Angola for his chairship of the Union in 2025, which has given a new fillip to our continental agenda. The 39th summit of the African Union, ladies and gentlemen, is based on the theme water and sanitation, which is key to our economies and which is a collective good which should be a source of peace and cooperation among nations. Our summit is taking place against the backdrop of a crisis in the world and on the continent and in the world. And our policy of silencing the gun is far from becoming a reality. And the open or latent conflicts are chronic. Unconstitutional change of government is also reminds us of the obscure post-independence period. The change in the international order significantly impacts the affairs of the continent without forgetting the interference in our affairs by externalities. Multilateralism is sorely tested, and we are witnessing the emergence of unilateralism and protectionism. In the face of these, Africa should scale up its cooperation through the enhancing of its integration and cooperation programs. Pan-African institutions should intensify their efforts and determination. ASCFTA, Outer NEPAD, Africa CDC, and other mechanisms of African Union should work together. We request African financial institutions, AFC, the African Development Bank, and African Bank to work together. Ladies and gentlemen, regional economic communities also have to scale up their operations. By 2050, Africa should be able to rival with the major economies. Agenda 2063 should guide us towards the Africa that we want, a strong, autonomous, and prosperous Africa. These are not pious wishes, but an imperative for survival. And the major countries in the world are preparing for the polarization of this world. Africa is in the global south, but Africa has its own hallmark and its own identity. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the reform of the institution should continue. The mobilization of domestic resources to finance the programs of the continent is not an option. It's urgent in the face of external tariffs. Our youth on the continent are impatient, and our women want more equality. Our civil society is positioning itself. So it's crucial to expedite the industrialization of the continent and the transformation of agriculture. And that will only be possible if we develop the energy potential of Africa and also create the necessary infrastructure. These are the prerequisites for the economic development of the continent expected. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the projects are complex and many. And we also know the challenges. You are confronted with these challenges on a daily basis in your respective countries. The African Union Commission, which I heard, will spare no efforts to advance this agenda. This is a long-term work, and we need to ensure that our action is sustainable. The 5-year 2022-2028 plan has been launched. The Agenda 2023 decade should be characterized by a high level of performance and execution. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it's also important to focus on the suffering of our people, victims of war, injustice, displacement, and we cannot avoid their daily challenges. From the Sudan to the Sahel to the east of the Democratic Republic of Congo, Somalia and elsewhere, our people continue to bear the brunt of instability. In the Middle East, Palestine, so the suffering of Palestinians also calls on us to act. The suffering of people should cease. International law and international humanitarian law are the basis of the international community. Preserving and promoting them will be the only pathway to ensuring peace in the world. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I wish you every success in your deliberation. Thank you.
Le vostre deliberazioni